Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Good, always. Really good.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Let's now begin the class. This it was the uh, slide on which we were discussing when we met last Saturday. I explained to you about the implications of changing costs upward or downward. I just gave you one example of changing uh, sales price. Like we changed the sale price and saw its effect on BEP and the decision taking into consideration the profitability. Similarly, we can check what will happen in case cost increases or cost decreases. In case fixed cost increases and variable cost decreases, or whatever are the two possible changes, increase or decrease in cost or in price. Within cost, variable as well as fixed, increase or decrease. Accordingly, you can work out and find out what are the implications of changing the cost and what happens on profitability. Should we accept the change or should we reject the proposal? This is what we discussed when we met last. So if you have any questions on this slide, I'll answer your question, and if not, I'll move on to the next slide. No questions. Anyone else who wants to know? All right. If nobody wants to know, I mean everything is clear, hopefully to everyone, I'll proceed. Other than this slide, do you have any question on the topic that is under discussion, break-even analysis?
No, sir.
No. Then let's move on to the next slide. You remember we are discussing managerial uses. So another managerial use could be target profit. Target profit means if a firm wishes to know that it needs to achieve this much of profit, it wants to generate this much of profit, then break-even analysis can help find out how much sales is to be made in order to generate the required profit. Each firm sets its target. It wants to sell these many units, it wants to sell this much profit, it wants to make so much, like this. So when it wants to set this target, break-even analysis concept helps the firm take this decision. For example, the firm in the current example that with which we are discussing, the firm wants to get a profit of rupees 5,000. You remember what is the data with which we are discussing? Sales
Yes,
price
sir.
was
10
10,
rupees. 10 per unit.
10 per
sales
unit.
price rupees 10. Okay, let me write rupees 10. Variable cost was
6 per
Rupees
unit.
6.
Fixed
and
cost is
fixed cost was
10,000.
10,000.
10,000. This is the
10,000.
data with which we have been working. So assuming
Yes,
this
sir.
data, let us say a firm has this data and it wants to generate a profit of rupees 5,000. So break-even analysis concept will help the firm. How do we do that? Can you think of any ways? Look at the calculation of break-even once again. What are you doing? You are how do you calculate break-even? You divide fixed cost by
Contribution.
contribution
Contribution.
margin or contribution ratio.
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 One gives you unit, the other one gives you
Rupees.
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 Correct, very true. Now you are dividing fixed cost by contribution margin, that gives you unit. So at those units, the firm breaks even, neither profit nor loss. So that means fixed cost is fully recovered and variable cost is also recovered. At these units, total cost is recovered. So if you wish to generate some profit or say a target profit, if you simply add to fixed cost, that means you need to recover this amount more. How much more do you need to recover? 5,000. Okay,
5,832.
5,000. That means in the formula, if you write fixed cost plus target profit, fixed cost plus target profit, how much does this figure become?
15,000.
15,000. Let us assume that this figure is not 5,000. Let us say this figure is 6,000. Firm wishes to make a profit of rupees 16,000. Then how much the numerator becomes? 16,000.
16,000.
You divide
16,000.
16. You divide 16,000 by what?
4.
Contribution
What is
ratio.
contribution margin?
4.
So,
So contribution
4,
margin
sir. 4.
was
4.
4.
4.
4.
4.
If 16,000 is divided by 4, what do you get?
4,000.
4,000.
4,000. What does this 4,000 means? You have to sell 4,000 units to
To get the profit.
Like to get the profit,
get a
6,000
profit
rupees.
of
6,000 rupees.
6,000
6,000.
rupees.
6,000. Is our answer correct or not? What do we do? Under what
So we
conditions
will
our
use,
answer will be correct?
so we will use break-even analysis. After that, we will figure out like break-even
Okay.
point क्या है अगर
Any?
उससे
Okay.
लगाते हैं
Okay.
तो
Good. Any other way you can explain it? By selling 4,000 units, if you make a profit of rupees 6,000, your answer will be correct. Then how do you verify that? You sell 4,000 units. When you sell 4,000 units, how much do you get? You get 40,000. Correct, 40,000. 40,000 is your revenue.
revenue.
Acha, what will be your variable cost?
60.
4,000 into
24,000.
4,000 into 6.
24,000,
6.
sir.
4,000
24,000.
into 6. So your variable cost will be
24,000.
24,000.
what will be your fixed? What is your fixed cost?
10,000.
10,000.
10,000.
10,000. Fixed cost is this one. Fixed cost is 10,000. I'm just started right. Fixed cost will be 10,000. What will be your total cost?
34,000.
34,000.
Total cost will be
34,000.
34,000. Total cost is 34,000. Total revenue is
40,000.
40,000.
40,000. So what is the profit?
6,000.
6,000.
Profit is equal to 6,000.
6,000.
So your answer is verified.
Right.
Okay. That means the calculations you made, recommendations you made are correct. If the firm wishes to generate a profit of rupees 6,000, how many units should it sell?
4,000.
4,000.
4,000. Similarly, you can work it out using contribution ratio also. What you will do? 16,000 you will divide by how much? Which will be 0.4. If you divide 16,000 by 0.4, again you get 40,000.
40,000.
Good. Now in the previous slide, I wrote here Similarly, calculate revised profit, which is rupees 4,400. In this slide, the change in sales price were explained to you. And what I explained was that currently the firm is selling at rupees 10, but it wants to increase the price to 12. It will result in reduction in sales by 20%, which is currently you are selling 3,000. If you increase the price from 10 to 12, your sales will be reduced by 20%.
24.
So
2400 units.
the question I put here was, should we or should we not proceed? I did not calculate this, but I told you similarly calculate the revised profit. Did you calculate the revised profit or you did not?
Yes,
800
sir.
right?
You
Okay.
revise.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes,
You
sir.
calculated and your answer was 4,400.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good, good. At times you will find that this may either deliberately or by mistake be incorrect. Suppose by mistake I have written here 3,400. Then each one of you who attempted this and did not, naturally will not get 3,400, were supposed to inform me. This is just to test whether you are taking these slides, you are making those calculations or not. So our this discussion on target profit is also over. So this is yet another managerial use of break-even analysis. Now we have another important application of break-even analysis. It helps you decide either you make or you buy. Whenever a firm manufactures an item, not necessarily the entire components or parts it purchases or makes on its own or purchases from the market. Partly it buys, partly it manufactures. Same is true in service industry also. Same is true with any setup. You do not manufacture everything that you are into. You do not, at times you outsource, at times you make. In the context of a hospital, the hospital may outsource so many services. It may have a lab, it may establish a lab of its own. Within the lab, it may carry out a certain test. For other tests, it may outsource. For teaching institutions also, you employ certain teachers, then others you get on hourly basis. You need photocopying facilities in the institution. Either you buy a photocopier or you get it done from open market. You need a car, either you outsource a car or you buy a car. So there are several situations wherein firm takes such decisions, that is to make or to buy. In this also break-even analysis helps. Let us take an example. The example I have just, we continue with the same example, that is our variable cost is 6 rupees and fixed cost is 10,000 rupees. The firm can buy these units at rupees 10 per unit in the open market. Now, how would you decide, should the firm buy or not? Should the firm buy or should the firm make? How do you decide? What will be the basis of calculations? ठीक है. Then what do you do thereafter?
तो जो less होगा उसके
Okay. Total. Suppose just 1 second. For example, you need 10 units. So what will be your total cost?
सर हमको 100 रुपीज का हमको ओपन मार्केट से पड़ सकता है.
No. Let answer my question. You need the firm just needs 10 units. Given the data, what will be its total cost?
सर 100 रुपीज.
कितनी होगी?
100
100 कैसे हो
rupees.
जाएगी? If you need 10 units and you are manufacturing,
So 10,006.
no. Let me just answer my question. The firm needs 10 units.
So 10,060.
1,160.
If it manufactures, the cost will be 10,060.
Yes,
If
sir.
the firm needs 1,000 units,
सर 16,000 हो जाएगा.
it will become
16,000. So
16,000. Correct. Total cost will be 16,000. The firm
16,000.
needs 10,000 units.
सर 70,000 हो जाएगा कॉस्ट
70,000.
70,000.
Okay. That means at varying manufacturing level, at varying desired level, your cost will be different. Now, suppose you want to, suppose you, at all these figures, you do not manufacture, but you buy. You buy 10 units, it will cost you 100 rupees. You buy 1000 units, how much will it cost you? 10,000.
10,000.
And you buy 10,000 units, how much will it cost you?
1 lakh.
1 lakh.
1 lakh. Sure? 1 lakh. So buying 1 lakh unit, buying 10,000 units will cost you 1 lakh. And manufacturing 10,000 units will cost you
70,000.
That means when you keep on increasing, the cost of manufacturing keeps on decreasing. So a time comes when both costs should be equal also, isn't it? Because both are showing a inverse relationship. So if you can calculate that cost where total cost is same, that will be the point based on which a decision can be taken. At what, how do you find that cost? At which, how do you find total cost? At which, how do you find the level at which total cost is equal? Mathematically, just apply the concepts that you have learned in quantitative analysis. It should be simple.
सर क्वांटिटी को हम x मान लेंगे.
2500 आ रहा है आंसर
How do you know 2500?
Yes, sir.
Break even and
सर हम पहले क्वांटिटी को x मान
पहले
लेंगे.
पहले
तो 10x equal
assume
to
that you
6.
have no idea about 2500 unit. It is a standalone question. Simple thing would be
सर कैलकुलेट
you
करके आए
assume
सर
number of units to be x,
Sir.
यस सर
isn't it?
सर दो इक्वेशन बना लेंगे फिर उनको
इक्वेशन बन गई. क्या इक्वेशन बनी आपकी?
सर उनका जो
10,000.
क्रॉस सेक्शन हो 10x equal to 6x plus 10,000.
Yes, 10. Sorry, how much?
Sir,
10x equal
10,000.
to 6x plus 10,000.
ओके, तो क्या आंसर होगा आपका? x की वैल्यू क्या होगी?
2,500.
2500. Okay, suppose you have calculated by whatever formula, and what I have mentioned here, that decision would depend on number of units needed. When calculated, suppose that amount is x, 2500, whatever you have calculated. So if the firm needs less than this, what do?
we buy
Why?
Buy.
We
And
will
if
buy.
firm needs more than this,
we
We will
manufacture
manufacture.
make. Because making total cost, making more than 2500 unit, total cost will be less, and buying less than 2000 units, buying will be desirable. So decision point would be dependent on number of units you make in any situation. Similarly, the services that you require, similarly the lab facilities that you require, etc., all that will be this one. Now suppose your answer was 2500. I am asking you to verify the statement. Calculate the cost of buying 2000 and 3000. You will arrive at a total cost. Also calculate the total cost of making and 2000 and 3000. You will notice that at 3000 buying should be expensive, and at 2000 buying should be economical. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Same thing I have perhaps shown you. No, I have not. Okay, it will be. Now suppose, now if the calculations part are clear, suppose the firm needs exactly 2500 units, and it thinks that in future demand is going to remain stable at 2500 or more or less 2500 for a longer time to come. काफी दिनों तक, काफी महीनों, सालों तक demand is not going to fluctuate neither more nor less than 2500. Then what should it do? It should buy or make. Is my question clear? So what will be your decision?
Sir, it can buy because at
Will buy.
2500.
Okay. I am writing a question. एक second. I'm just typing something in the chat box. I have posted a question. Read it. If the firm needs exactly 2,500, should it buy or okay? The answer should, like you have started writing, like Vanshika has wrote make, buy, make. So write your opinion. Each one of you should write whatever you feel that suppose you are in a position to take a decision. The calculations have been shown by your assistant, and now you will take a decision. You will buy or you will make. So the answers are, somehow conveying both the part, like both the concerns. Some of you are interested in making, some of you are interested in buying. When everybody finishes, I'll start the discussion once again, but do it. I mean, has everyone given his or her opinion? Aziz has written, because if the company desires to continue selling that product, it will be beneficial. But the assumption I have already told you, that demand is not going to change in near future. Demand is going to remain the same. Anyway, okay. So can I assume that everybody has everybody has mentioned make or buy, either M or B, or is still anybody left? Okay. Okay, if everybody has written, I'll proceed. Just 1 second. Okay, I'll do the analysis part later. So assume that everybody has answered it. Now you need a car. Your company needs a car. Should the company buy a car or rely on Uber or Ola or something like that?
Buy a car.
Buy.
So buy a car.
Buy a car.
That depend on the need.
Depend. हाँ, say it again. Depends on.
On the need. अगर हमें रोजाना जाना है तो बाई कर सकते हैं, अगर हफ्ते में या महीने में एक बार तो ऊबर
Depending.
बेहतर है.
Oh, correct. Depends on use. अगर हमें रोजाना इस्तेमाल करना है तो better to buy, और अगर कभी-कभी इस्तेमाल करना है तो better to use. Better to outsource.
Accommodate.
Okay. ये रोजाना कितने पर डिपेंड करेगा? 365 और 300 और 250 और कितने पर डिपेंड करेगा?
Working days.
Working days. So you mean suppose you are working on 5 days a week and you work for 250 days. So if you need a car for 250 days, then you buy, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So,
And if you need a car for 200 out of 250, you need a car for 200 days only.
Still buy.
Buy.
So
Still
still
buy,
buy.
Buy. For 150,
Still buy.
So we can choice at time.
अच्छा 150 पे you will buy. About 100,
Still we will buy.
So we can
sir.
accommodate.
सर वो आगे भी तो फिर वो कर जाएगा उसमें.
अच्छा 100 पे भी आप खरीदेंगे. अगर आप you need a car for only for 50 days,
So we can accommodate, like we can use any.
मतलब 50 पर भी आप
Taxi.
you will buy.
No, sir. We can use a taxi or cab, right?
Okay. Now you all remember your answers. You all remember your answers, whatever you have written, buy or make. Make a note somewhere in your diary, and when you go in the when you join third semester, there will be specialization in HR finance. If you are looking for a specialization and a choice between these two, those of you who have said buy, they may go for finance, and those of you who have said make, can go for HR. Can you think any relationship between making and buying and opting for finance and HR?
So buying will be a more financial option, as when while making for a car. we will be having a lot of human resources in the company. Really bad.
Okay. What will be your preference? Having more human resources in the company or less human resources?
So less.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
What is the okay, fine. What is the trend these days? Buying or outsourcing manufacturing?
Outsourcing, sir.
Outsourcing.
Outsourcing.
Means
Outsourcing.
means not
Outsourcing.
manufacturing but buying, or but not manufacturing but buying, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
If several companies need manufacturing or or services, what is the trend? Do they make themselves or do they buy?
So they are
Buying.
buying.
They are buying. Why is it so that they are buying? Buying is cost effective, or buying has got something else also?
It's cost effective actually.
The less human resource will be required.
Less
Less
human
human
resources.
resource.
And what are the advantages of having less human resources?
सर
So
उनको
less
देखभाल नहीं
payment.
करनी है उसकी.
Less,
Basically.
less,
So less
less,
expenses on
so
salary.
less expenses.
Less headache. Correct. Then
So less risk.
okay. So means at times the decision will not be purely based on when I said marketing. Sorry, when I said finance and HR, writing, making, or buying anything that you wrote, you must have taken a conscious decision. You must have made certain calculations in your mind before arriving at that conclusion. Had that been the case, only then your answer and my statement like joining HR or like joining finance will be correct. You will see, what do you, those of you who have written making, what do you wish to take in second year, HR or finance, in case you wish to go for one of these? Do you find some relationship between this statement, or this statement has got nothing to do with your decision? Okay, think over it. If not now, you may think over it and then see. It should be conveying you the same thing. Now at the later stage, once the class is over and whenever you got time before joining the class tomorrow, make these calculations also. That is, find out what all I am writing in red font. That is, you should calculate the cost of buying 2 and 3, cost of making 2 and 3, and see for yourself that the statements we made above is correct. What will be the statement that will be correct? Cost of buying 2 will be more, cost of making 2 will be, whatever is mentioned here, whatever has been explained, cost of making 2 will be more and cost of making 3 will be less compared to buying. So you may prepare a table and see for yourself that these answers will be correct. So if make and buy decisions are clear, there may be some other considerations, let us quality, timely supply, that we have assumed to be in our favor. There are no issues with supply, there are no issues with timely supply, there are no issues with quality. Wherever we are buying it from, they'll continue to supply us the quality product. There will be no any disruption in the supply sides, and everything will be the same as if we are making on our own. So make and buy decisions can be taken like this. Shall we move on now?
So, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now there is another area in which break-even analysis helps, that is known as equipment selection. You may have varying types of equipments. I'm not concerned about any aspect other than their two costs. One, their fixed cost, and the other is their variable cost. You have various types of select equipments coming with various fixed costs and various variable costs. Whenever you buy an equipment, you pay some money at which you buy, and at the same time there is an operating cost or maintenance cost or using the equipment. It also costs you, so that you call as variable cost. So if we have 2, 3, 4, 5 any types of equipments, each having different sets of cost, that is their fixed and variable costs differ. You have equipment A, equipment B, equipment C. Each comes at a different cost, and the cost of operating that equipment also differs. In such a scenario, we call this decision as equipment selection. Which one to buy? What could be various examples? Sorry, no, Michael. First, let us understand what could be the different examples of such equipments where two cost or two set of costs differ. What could be the examples? Where two sets of costs will differ. Yes. Hmm? चलिए इंटरनेट कनेक्शन कैसे? Okay, Wi-Fi connection. If you subscribe to a Wi-Fi connection, there may be two types. One costing more, but usage of data will be economical, isn't it? The other one where it costs you less initially, but its data usage will be more. Okay, what could be the other examples?
Sir,
So
printing
machines like
machines.
computers.
Okay, no, okay. In computer, how do you decide
Uh,
what will be the variable cost of computer? Okay, the
सर
example
आगे चल
could
के
be
कोई प्रॉब्लम
hmm,
अगर उसमें आती है कंप्यूटर में, सर
example
कोई
could
अगर
be
प्रॉब्लम है,
that you have two types of machines. One is fully automated, and the other could be semi-automated.
So
If
can
it
we
is
take
fully
the example
automated,
of so can we take the
take the
example of
example of
cars? Cars.
cars.
Uh,
Okay, there can be how many categories?
So fully automatic and semi-automatic or manual.
Manual.
Give me three
Okay,
examples.
all these will differ in terms of their origin, in terms of their sales price, and how will they differ in terms of their variable cost?
Sir, upon the features they are
Say
providing
it
in
a
the
bit
cars.
louder.
Upon the
Mileage.
Upon the features they are
about
providing in the cars.
No, features they are providing is okay. Just recall what did I say in the beginning, that we are concerned with only two cost. Mileage. Yes, mileage should have been the example. You may have a petrol driven car, you may have a diesel
A
driven
CNG
car,
or a
you
diesel.
may have CNG
CNG.
cars,
So
CNG.
you may have electrical car, isn't it? All these four types of cars, just in order, in the order in which I am saying: petrol, diesel, CNG, and electrical. Which will be more expensive?
So
डीजल,
petrol.
petrol.
Followed by
इलेक्ट्रिक,
Petrol.
इलेक्ट्रिक कार,
CNG, then diesel, and then
इलेक्ट्रिक,
So
petrol.
petrol.
Correct? But at the same time, their variable cost will be different exactly in reverse order. Which will have more variable cost, petrol or diesel?
So diesel. So petrol.
डीजल,
Petrol.
Petrol,
डीजल,
sir.
पेट्रोल सर.
Petrol.
Petrol.
It will certainly
So
petrol.
petrol.
Within petrol and electrical, which will have less variable cost?
Electrical.
Electric.
Electrical.
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 Because you won't buy any fuel. All that you would require is to charge the battery, and charging battery, even if you consume 10 units, so it will cost you how much? Maybe 10 rupees a unit, 100
Charge
rupees.
battery.
In 100 rupees, it can travel, let us say, 200 kilometers. So per kilometer cost is only 50 paise. And petrol
50.
driven vehicle will cost you how much per kilometer? At least 6-7 rupees, depending on the type of car. So you will see that when we talk about the equipment, and we take into consideration only two types of cost, fixed and variable. variable cost, we see inverse relation. It happens or not?
Yes, sir.
It does happen that your if fixed cost,
Sir, can you please repeat it?
the question was if you plot a data of fixed months, you will notice if fixed cost is more, variable will be less. If fixed cost is less, variable will be more. You will find inverse relationship between fixed and a variable cost. Is this clear? Or should
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, do you have any doubt about it? If I write here, let us say petrol, then diesel, then gas, then electrical. If I write the prices of this car, petrol may cost you 5 lakh, diesel may cost you 7 lakh, same category, gas may cost you 8 lakhs, and electrical may cost you, let us say, 10 lakh. Now, what will be the variable cost of these? Variable cost of these could be, let us say, 8 per kilometer, 6, let us say 3 and 1. Now, do you see the data on screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
If
sir.
you see the data on the screen, what type of relationship do you notice?
Inverse.
Inverse.
Inverse relationship.
Inverse relationship.
Sir, fixed cost.
Just once again, if fixed cost is increasing 5, 7, 8, 10, variable cost is decreasing 8, 6, 3, 1,
8 to 6.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In such a scenario, now if this is clear, you may think of various other products also, various other products and services, and you will find similar relationship. Figures naturally will differ, but when I say similar relationship, that means one will increase, the other will decrease. In such a scenario, also break-even analysis concept helps you. Now, how do we decide which one to buy? I'm deleting this data, but let it remain. How do you decide? The example I gave you was, suppose you buy a fully automated machine, it will cost you 10,000, but running cost would be 70 rupees per unit. It is a manufacturing machine, it manufactures certain things. So buying it would cost you 10 lakh, but variable cost will be 70,000. If you buy a semi-automated machine, it will be naturally lesser than the first one, but its variable cost will be more. Then how do we decide which one should we buy? Again, decision would be dependent on calculating number of units at which total cost will be equal. Isn't it? How do you calculate those units?
So again, making two equations and equating
A
them.
bit louder.
So making two equations and
Two
equating them.
equations. Just tell me the equation.
So 10,000 plus 70.
10,000 or 10 lakh?
Oh, 10 lakh is
10 lakh plus
70x,
70x equal to 7 lakh plus 100x,
100x.
100x. And x will be equal to
100.
100.
तो वहाँ से 3
सर एक्स की वैल्यू तो फाइंड आउट होगी ना बाद में
So 10,000 आ रही है.
X will be equal to
10,000
Number of units.
10,000. Number of. Achha, by the way, while framing equation, you said 10 lakh plus 70x
70x.
is equal to 7 lakh plus 100x.
100x.
Why did not you say y? Or why you did not say n? Or why you did
वो
not?
डिफॉल्ट सेट हो गया है.
नहीं, मैं जानना चाह रहा हूँ.
सर आपको पूछें कि हमने दो वेरिएबल्स क्यों नहीं यूज किए हैं.
Okay, नहीं, in while using variable, why did you said x only? Why not y? Cannot
तो
we say
बचपन से डिफॉल्ट हो गया सर.
जी?
कह रहे सर बचपन से वो डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग हो गई है.
अच्छा, बचपन से जहन में डिफॉल्ट सेटिंग हो गई है. कोई और रीजन है उसका? कभी सोचा कि एक्स क्यों कहते हैं ये? हम ये क्यों नहीं कह सकते 70 अल्फा प्लस 10 लाख इज इक्वल टू 100 अल्फा प्लस 7 लाख?
मेहनत ज्यादा लग रही है बोलने में.
जी,
Yes, sir.
कभी आपने सोचा कि x क्यों कहा गया, y क्यों नहीं बताया टीचर ने?
सर एक्स
तो y
फैक्टर
भी होता है, वो दूसरा वेरिएबल होता था जब होता था तो।
अगर इस प्रॉब्लम में, अच्छा चलिए, अगर इस प्रॉब्लम में आप ये कहते कि 70 अल्फा प्लस 1 लाख इज इक्वल टू 100 अल्फा प्लस जो भी
Because
है
of
ये भी,
dimensions, x-axis and y-axis.
और उसमें ये कहते कि वेयर इन अल्फा स्टैंड्स फॉर नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स, तो गलत हो जाता वो।
नहीं,
सर
No, sir.
तो कभी आपके जहन में ये नहीं आया कि ऐसा क्यों होता है?
सर कार्टेशियन प्लेन में एक्स एक्सेस होती है इसलिए
जी
मे
फिर
बी।
बताइए किसमें?
कार्टेशियन प्लेन में
हम्म
उसमें एक्स एक्सेस होती है सर, एक्स एक्सेस एंड वाई एक्सेस।
अच्छा, एक्स एक्सिस वाई, एक्स पर आप क्या प्लॉट करते हैं, डिपेंडेंट, और वाई पे प्लॉट करते हैं इंडिपेंडेंट। उनको
सर
नहीं
रियल
सर,
एक्स पर
ऑपोजिट होता है।
So
इंडिपेंडेंट
why
होता है,
dependent?
वाई पर डिपेंडेंट होता है।
अच्छा ये बताइए
The
उनको आप
X पे X पे
पर
इंडिपेंडेंट
इंडिपेंडेंट
है, Y पे डिपेंडेंट
वाई
होता
पर
है।
डिपेंडेंट
आप
होता है।
चलिए कुछ कुछ मान लीजिए, आप इनको 0 x और y करते हैं ना,
यस सर।
ठीक है, आप इसको ए बी सी क्यों नहीं कर सकते? बेस ए, एक्स की जगह वाई, और बी, और वाई की जगह सी, ए बी सी कर सकते हैं कि नहीं कर सकते?
सर एबीसी को सर कॉन्स्टेंट्स के तौर पर देखा जाता है मोस्टली।
नहीं, कांस्टेंट के तौर पर एक्स वाई जेड को क्यों नहीं देख सकते?
सर वो प्री डिफाइंड है इसलिए मे बी।
चलिए सोचिएगा इसके ऊपर, इस पर
सर
आप गौर
आई डोंट
कीजिए।
नो, मे बी रॉन्ग और राइट, बस हम साइंस में भी एक्स रेज बोलते हैं, तो एक्स इज अननोन।
मैं यही तो पूछ रहा हूँ आपसे, कि बोलते हैं इसलिए हमने भी बोलना शुरू कर दिया। चलिए ठीक है, अब आपका
तो
आंसर इस
जिसने
तरह से
बनाया
सपोज,
होगा उसने एक्स वाई रख दिया होगा।
जी क्या
तो
कहा?
जिसने पहली बार बनाया होगा उसने एक्स वाई रख दिया होगा।
अच्छा, जिसने पहली बार बनाया होगा उसने एक्स वाई रख दिया होगा, ठीक है ठीक। चलिए, तो व्हाट डू यू डू इन द गिवन सिचुएशन, which machine will you buy? Should you buy fully automated or should you buy semi automated?
fully automated.
Depends on the usage.
Depend on
Depends on
the
usage, correct? If your usage is more than or equal to
10,000
So
units,
we will
10,000
buy
more than 10,000, let us say more than 10,000, which one will you buy?
fully automated, sir.
Automated, correct?
fully automated,
And if your usage is less than 10,000, you will buy
Semi-automated.
semi automated,
semi automated.
Semi-auto.
And if you need exactly
semi-automated.
good, and if you need exactly 10,000,
so depends on the view, sir.
तो फुली
Because-
ऑटोमेटेड के साथ जाऊंगा।
yes sir,
So
fully
you can choose
automated.
either of them.
Because it provides a better
Correct.
service.
suppose I make one more statement, that this requirement of 10,000 is going to remain stable for the next 5 years. Which one will you buy?
fully automated.
Semi-automated,
Fully automated.
क्योंकि सर उन
Sir,
3 लाख
because
का इस्तेमाल हम कहीं और कर
Semi-automated.
सकते हैं।
we have to invest further in other
Suppose I say,
resources.
wait. Suppose I say this demand of 10,000 is going to remain stable for more or less 3 years.
सर
So fully automated.
Fully automated.
Fully automated.
See, mind you, before you make any statement, just at least carry out these calculations in your mind. In what way will it impact the firm? We will have more of this discussion in financial management, a concept which we will start on the day one. Profit maximization or wealth maximization will end up with the last class also. Every decision will be taken keeping in mind the wealth maximization. Here the concern is not wealth maximization, but certainly in while making out the financial calculations, these things are important. So your decision will be dependent on number one, number of units, and then for how many days or years or time period these units going to remain stable. Accordingly, decision will be taken. Now suppose you have the third type of machine also. You have third machine also.
So fully
And
automated.
that third machine, no, okay, fully automated, semi-automated, let us say manual. You have manual machine. Fixed cost is, let us say, 4 lakh. and variable cost is rupees 200 per unit. What would you do?
It's still fully automated.
It's still fully automated.
Yes, sir. Manual है तो we'll be working for that person who will be handling this machine. तो वैसे ही उतना cost effective नहीं है.
But you will not you consider your requirements? Will not you consider the requirements?
So we will look for units to.
You will look, yes, you will look for units. Then how would you calculate units?
सर अब की बार किन्हीं दो मशीन्स का हम कंपेयर करके चलेंगे.
जी फिर बोलिए.
सर अब की बार हमको किन्हीं दो मशीन्स का कंपेयर करके चलना पड़ेगा.
किस किस मशीन में कंपेयर करेंगे आप?
सर जैसे कि फुल्ली ऑटोमेटेड और मैनुअल में कंपैरिजन करेंगे और उसके
एक
बाद सेमी
इक्वेशन बन जाएगी.
ऑटोमेटेड. सर फिर अगली बार करेंगे सेमी ऑटोमेटेड और मैनुअल में. अब हमारे
एक और
पास
इक्वेशन बन जाएगी. देन
सर इससे हमारे पास नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स निकलते जाएंगे. हमने जैसे कि हमने फुली ऑटोमेटेड और सेमी ऑटोमेटेड में निकाल चुके हैं कि हमको 10,000 यूनिट्स पे जाके ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट आ रहा है. फिर मैनुअल में चेक करेंगे कि अगर मैनुअल में कितना कम ज़्यादा आ रहा है कंपैरिजन में. और
what will be your, okay, you are working in a firm, what will be your decision? One more example was given by Shubham Kumar, a solar panel installation. Yes, initial cost is high, but in the long run, it is economical. Correct? We may, have a decision like you go for paying the electricity bill, a regular connection from UP state, any state electricity board, or installing your own solar panels. Okay. Now coming to the equipment selection example, once again, giving 3 or giving more than 2 equipments. You can have several more categories of equipment, each having different fixed costs and different variable costs. In such a scenario, how do we decide? You get the range. That is, in the previous example, assuming that there's nothing called manual machine, if you just, our decision was 10,000 units. Below 10,000, semi-automated. Above 10,000, fully automated. Similarly, we will calculate between manual and automatic or between manual and fully automatic.
Semi-automatic.
Manual and semi-automatic, correct. So you will have one more equation, and that equation would be 200. You call it x or y. 200x plus 4 lakh is equal to 100x plus 7 lakh. What will be the value of x? At that value, let us say that value is 5 lakh. So what will be our decision? Anything less than 5 lakh, what will be the decision?
So manual.
Anything more than 5 lakh,
Semi-automated.
automatic.
Semi-automated.
Anything
So
more than 5 lakh,
automated.
more than 5 could be anything.
So yes,
But
sir,
more
5
than
to 10.
10.
Yes, full. So we will have a range of various equipments, of various units, of various requirements. We will tabulate them, present them in the form of a table, and can say if you require these many or less, then this is desirable. If you require more than this but less than this, it is desirable. If you require more than this but less than this, it is desirable. If you require more than this, then this is desirable. You see, all those people who actually implement all these things may not be taking out or may not be making these calculations, but certainly in their subconscious mind, these calculations are not very, very accurate, but calculations are there, and then only they take a decision. Have you ever seen any photostat shop in the market which does not have sophisticated machines? It always has sophisticated machines because its main job is to photocopy. But when you visit a small office, or maybe you check in a hotel, there also you find a photostat machine. But that is very small because all that they need to do is to photostat or take a copy of your ID. That's it. So in a day, they only take number of copies depending on number of guests they arrive in the hotel. They cannot take or will not buy or should not buy a sophisticated photocopier machine which will make 1000 pages in a minute or staple or bind them, because it is not the requirement. So depending on fixed cost and variable cost, the idea is how to use the concept of break even. Now what you should do, also try to calculate about the manual and see how many units do you require, and then prepare a table based on the data that I have just given here. Prepare a table using above data with and show decisions and show your decisions. What I have asked, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll do that. Equipment selection, I just explained. Now verify your answer taking 8,000 and 12,000 units. What you would notice that at 8,000 units, which one will be economical?
Semi-automated.
Semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic.
At 12,000,
fully
Fully
automatic.
automatic. You will calculate total cost at 8,000 and 12,000 units using both machines. Only then our statement will be correct. This part we have already answered. What it firm needs exactly 10,000 units. Okay. Now, one more advantage of break-even analysis is about the add or drop or replacement decisions. I think we will take it up tomorrow only, as the time is over. But in the meantime,
Yes, sir.
you work out whatever you have been asked to, and keep a note of the answers that you have worked out. I will ask you tomorrow in the class. Shall we close the class now, or you have some questions?
No, sir.
Now, if you don't have any question, you may kindly leave the class, because you need to join someone else's class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
sir.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.